Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now you might remember earlier this year, late last year, I did a series of videos on changing the fuel filters on this Massey Ferguson 35. If you can recall, we did these two, the sediment bowl on the other side, and we went through the bleeding process to get any air out of the system in accordance with how the book says we're supposed to do it. Well, it hasn't all been plain sailing. Since that time I started the tractor up 2, maybe 3 times, and after about 5 minutes of running the engine would start to surge a little forward, then back. Eventually the tractor would stall. I thought I must have done something wrong during the fuel filter change and bleeding, because I've never had such problems with the tractor before. So it's a little bit frustrating, but it needs to be investigated. So let me show you what I found out and how we remedied it. So I had a real good look many times, and I eventually saw just a build-up of fuel in a couple of spots. I'll show you where. Just on the tip here underneath this plastic tap, which is the drain plug on the secondary fuel filter, but it was just enough that it was wet. I'm sure the fuel dripped onto the ground, but it was so infrequent that I rarely saw any fuel on the ground, if at all. I couldn't catch it. So there was some here, and can we see over here? Probably not. Let's have a look. And there was a tiny bit on this bleed screw, as I called it on the video. I don't remember if it was the bleed point number 2 or 3. I've lost count now, but it was this top one. There's just a tiny bit of fuel around there, not enough for me to catch it actually dripping. So I concentrated on those two. Now I remember speaking to a friend of mine at work, Michael. Hello Michael. And before I found these tiny little leaks, I thought, is there some dirt or crud in the fuel system that's stopping it from running as it should? And I'm glad I didn't pull everything apart, lines, etc., because I sat and thought the best mesh plastic filter I've ever seen is right at the fuel tap on the other side, at the sediment bowl, at the sediment bowl. My head tells me nothing can get past that. Sure, there might be some rubbish floating in the fuel tank, but once we hit that mesh, if you remember from one of the previous videos, it should all be clean sailing all the way through. Anyway, I mentioned this tap here. So, and I'm sorry I didn't video it. I usually videotape everything I do here. I don't know what come over me, but I'll explain it. I took this apart, as you've seen previously, and then I was very careful when I put it all back together to make sure all the seals lined up. I did this tap up as tight as possible without breaking it. But if you think back to one of my videos, there was a tiny little O-ring in the Delphi kit here. If you remember, it came with, these are the old ones, big ones, that one which went up underneath. And if you remember, I said there's a real little one, and I couldn't figure out where it went. Or someone on the video actually sent me back a remark, and I thank him for that. Okay, so there's our new secondary filter and the seals that come with it. So it'll be one at the top, one at the bottom, whichever one's which. That'll be at the top where you see me take the old one out. And for a minute I thought, what the bloody hell is that one? I am thinking that is... No, that's not right, that's too big. I don't know. Look, there's a lot of subscribers there, and you all know about this more than I do. Send me a message and tell me what the smallest seal is. So the guy that left me a comment and said, I think you'll find that tiny little O-ring goes somewhere, he did give me the right answer. I remember acknowledging him, and that was Kevin or Kel. I'm sorry mate, it's a while ago. I hope one of those two is your right name. And anyway, but see, I didn't follow up on it, I forgot about it. So when I pulled this apart the other day, I kept that little O-ring, and as that fella said, it goes in the top here. I hope you can see this. If you remember, there's a bolt that holds it all together with a washer and an O-ring or a tiny little seal. I pulled off the old one, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the problem was. I don't know if you can see this, but it's had it. It's for the bin. So I tightened all this up and cleaned it around here, and come back an hour later because you want to be watching for little trickles, etc. And that was airtight, for want of a better explanation. And this bleed screw I was talking about here, well, obviously I hadn't tightened it up enough. I don't know why, I don't know what come over me, but I just rechecked everything, dried it off with a cloth, come back a while later after I'd bled it, and everything was nice and dry. So I read something interesting on the internet about fuel systems, putting everything back together, double checking your work, not being in a hurry, which I didn't think I was, but I obviously wasn't paying enough attention to detail. I'm going to put some of that up on the next screen for you to have a read. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. This video might go down as the quickest one I've done, record in time. We'll see what happens, but I hope you've got something out of it. As I said, I just wanted to explain to you what I managed to find that was incorrect, and helped me get the tractor back to its reliability again. So thanks for watching, see you next time, and here's a little video of old mate purring away healthily. Goodbye.